If you're new around here, we're Squeegee & Ink, a screen printing studio based in the UK. Previously on YouTube, we started a small segment on our channel documenting how to start a streetwear brand. We started Blind Maggot as a company and it basically got out of hand, and now we own a retail high street shop. This is the design that we're going to be launching in the shop today, but before I go into detail and tell you exactly how many of these shirts we printed, let's rewind to the print studio and I can tell you all about it. We're now at the stage with the brand that we can definitely tell which shirts are going to do really well and which ones are going to stay on the shelf a little longer. Through experience of the last few years, we know for sure that if a t-shirt has an illustration on it that tells a story, that shirt is going to do particularly well. And if the story happens to be a particularly mundane local news story, then sales are going to go through the roof. It just so happens that Newbury has one of these mundane local news stories happening right now. So we've decided to illustrate that with our biggest release of the year, maybe even for the whole brand's history. And we're going all in on this because the reaction to this story has just been crazy. I thought I'd pull my bench round for this little bit. Hundreds of these Paddington life-size sculptures were put on benches all across the whole of the UK to promote a new Paddington Bear film. They were meant as photo opportunities and people were taking photos of them. They loved it. Families and grannies and kids were all coming together to take their photo with Paddington in the town. So it was a really big shock one day when half of the Paddington sculpture had been ripped out and Paddington looked horrendous the next day. And people posted that photo on Facebook. Then the local council even put up a big pink gazebo around the bench, which made it look like a forensics tent, and it looked like someone had died in the town. There was all this speculation going around about who did it, why they did it, what's going to happen, are we going to get our Paddington Bear sculpture again? And then the vigil started. People were leaving out marmalade sandwiches for Paddington, writing him poems, writing him songs, and all the Facebook comments were asking for somebody to be lynched and when are the police going to get involved? And then the police did get involved because there was so much pressure probably, and they managed to get all the CCTV of what happened. Then they were really quickly prosecuted and charged with the offence, which they admitted, and eventually we got our Paddington Bear restored and put back in place. But the amount of comments and things that people were saying to do to these two cadets were really quite dramatic, and there's a big frenzy in the town for sure. Then the story started to be picked up by local news. It got into the newspaper where the whole headline of the newspaper was Saddington. Then it went regional, and then finally the news went global. So now you know the story. That leads me on to how many t-shirts we're actually going to print. To start with, we're going to be printing an edition size of 500 across 3 different colorways, which actually makes a total of 1,500 shirts. And if the design proves really popular, we'll also put it on to some sweatshirts, some hoodies, and maybe even a different colorway of t-shirt, maybe like a white or something, who knows. Just to explain this setup behind me, we've designed it in a kind of a unique way when it comes to the screen printing, because we don't want to have to do lots of different setups according to what t-shirt color we've got going on. So we've made the design across 5 screens, but for each different color of shirt, we'll only be printing 4 of the colors. When it comes to the black t-shirt, we'll miss off the black ink screen. For example, this one, because the color of the t-shirt will shine through in the design and it will bring in those bits of detail. Again, for the stone coloured t-shirt, we won't print the stone coloured ink. And again, for the kind of bluey colour, we won't print the blue. So it kind of all makes sense, and it means that we can have the same setup and just keep taking the squeegee off the screen that we don't need to print each time. And the reason I take the squeegee off is so that I don't accidentally print that colour when it comes to it. So you can just be thinking about other things when you're printing. And then you might notice that I also have this screen on. This is going to be the front design, which is just a little camera, and it comes in 2 different colours. It comes in like a stony one and an outline. This is for the different colour shirts as well, and I'm just going to flip this screen up. But it means I can still have all my screens set up on my cruiser all at once, and I'm going to smash through this job in no time. I'm going to start printing the stone t-shirts so I can show you what I mean. That's the last of the stone done, and I thought I would take this time to show you how I went about actually separating the design for the different coloured t-shirts. I'm going to make this really quick, but we use Sep Studio NXT to separate our images. I literally just pulled in an Illustrator file into the software, removed any elements that I didn't want, like layers, and press print. Sep Studio NXT gives you the option to add in a spread, a stroke, and an underbase, neither of which I want today for this particular artwork, but it's very, very simple and inbuilt into the system. And finally, it automatically adds in the registration marks you need to line up your artwork, and it puts the registration marks on every single layer for you. If you want to use Sep Studio NXT to do all the separating of your artwork, we've left a link in the description, and you can use our brand new discount code, which is CRP5, which is CRP FIVE, and this discount code does update sometimes, so if you're watching this video in the future, then make sure to check that it's the most current discount code in the description. But for now, I'm going to get back to printing our next colorway. If you haven't already noticed, we didn't choose to do an underbase under these colours, even though 2 of them are going on some quite dark garments with this and the black. And this was a conscious choice. We wanted some of these colours to lay like this, and we didn't necessarily want them to be super vibrant fluoro in your face, because they actually work with the kind of illustration that we've got going on here. And this is the kind of thing that when you've designed it yourself or in-house, and you've chosen the colour palettes, then you can make these decisions as to whether you want the ink to be as vibrant as possible, and then you'd probably put an underbase under there to like give it something to lift off, or you can just go and hit it once and get this kind of subdued nighttime effect. So once we knew what the rules were, then we were able to break them. We did do a couple of tests and found that actually just a single hit of these colours worked perfectly, and this is what we're going for. It also has the added benefit of being lighter on the shirt, quicker to print, and it means that we can still just use 5 screens for this particular design. I realised I haven't actually spoken about some of the details that we managed to get in this design. The first one is a big pink gazebo behind the tent. This was the kind of fake forensics tent that they put up around the bench. Behind the bench you can see the two guys who actually took Paddington. Then we have the police, and we have our own very special branded police tape here, blind maggot tape all around, just to kind of get the name in there and bring the design together as one of ours. Then the swans have to feature in here. The swans are such a big part of the town and the blind maggot brand story that we had to get them involved somehow. So we got one of them holding the marmalade sandwich and the other one is holding Paddington's hat. Then we also have 3 CCTV cameras, and this is because Paddington's always got 3 cameras on him. So 1, 2 and number 3 up there. I really like the way they've been drawn with the big eyeball. Then we have the mob mentality with the pitchforks and the shouting and the hysteria. So we've got like smoke coming out of this guy's ears, and we've got some of the comments that were left on Facebook groups on the signs. So I think that's all pulled together really nicely. But I just wanted to give you some insight into some of those things that we've pulled into the design. Now we're going to go into the shop and make sure that the merchandising of the whole shop matches the design and kind of brings you into the story a little bit. This is the final display of our shirts. You'll have to let us know in the comments if you think we're going to sell 1,500 of these. Also let us know if you think we're going to delve into doing different colorways as well. It's really great if you subscribe to the channel because it really helps us out. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified of our next video. And we've been dropping a few hints, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be screen printing the hoodie version of this. Also in that next video, we might even tell you how many of these t-shirts we sold.